So then I'll turn the question over to you. Given that what Trill is saying is also true, despite the fact that it might not reflect what you experienced as a child, a lot of women today are being pressured to have their own, hold their own, because they might not be able to depend on a man. And also they have certain things that they expect from relationships that may or may not reflect traditionalism, right? What do you think is currently at the top of women's minds when they're meeting a man today that they're dating? And what do you think should be on their mind?
At the top of their mind is fear.
Okay.
They're fearful of, is this man going to cheat on me? Is he going to use me? Is he going to abuse me? Is he going to leave me destitute? Mm-hmm. It's fear. What do you I would say, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. What do you think should be going on in their minds?
They should be trying to find the best suitable match. I think it's not even just fear of the man, but they don't trust their judgment, because they were not given the tools and resources and given a chance to test their own judgment. You know, sometimes, especially Black parents, we want to coddle, protect, and hold our kids' hands through every single trial, tribulation. We want to fix everything to make sure that they don't experience any trials and tribulations in life. Unfortunately, I was not raised like that. I've had to, I had to face life. And I've found that life is what it is. You're going to go through some ups and downs. And even in romantic relationships, you've got to kiss some frogs. You're going to have to kiss some frogs. That's just the way life is. Life doesn't owe us any understanding. The world doesn't owe us any understanding. I think women need to focus on learning to trust themselves, trust their judgment, and find the most suitable, compatible candidate for them.
Trill, how you feel about that?
I would agree 1,000%. And we said that on the pod a couple of times. I think people raise their child out of fear more so than giving them the skills they need to survive out here. I think like women generally, especially, even with dads in the home, you kind of try to protect them. Like most women, like, you speak to a lot of women. How many women are comfortable talking about sex with their dad? How many women are comfortable talking about, just dating, period? Like, unless she's bringing like a stand-up guy to the house and it's like, okay, daddy, here he is. But rarely ever does dads really sit down and like give their daughter the uncut raw game, because it's an uncomfortable conversation that you have to have on both sides. So I think that more so needs to change, like spend less energy trying to protect them from what's outside and put a lot of that energy into giving them the tools that they'll need to survive outside. And that's why I said, in having a daughter, that's how it was going to be. It's not going to be a situation where, she bring up sex. Oh, no, you ain't having no kids till you 65. I don't want to hear about no sex. Like, a lot of women were raised that way. So what happens is that they have to go out here and learn outside. You got to make mistakes outside. And that may be a illegitimate child here. That may be a dude that's putting his hands on you there. That may be, whatever. But if you would have sat her down and had those real conversations, she could have been able to distinguish, okay, this type of guy, this is bad news. That's bad news. He a solid guy, you know what I'm saying? And she would have gravitated more to the solid guys. But instead, a lot of women have to find out the hard way. So I agree. I think it should be less, the teaching should be less fear-based and more so in enhancing their selection skills.
So give me an example of something specific that you would be more ready to tell your daughter, and at what age you think it's reasonable to teach her, that other men and women are not telling their daughters. Give me something specific.
Again, like I think the main thing I teach my daughter is to find a man that has solid structure and that's consistent. You don't think
men are teaching their daughters this?
Not. I mean, kind of, sort of, but it's like broad. I don't feel like men are necessarily teaching their daughters what to look for and how they can like benefit a man like that. I think it's more so, okay, yeah, you want to get you a guy that doesn't cheat on you, doesn't disrespect you, doesn't put his hands on you. Again, that's broad. And I feel like those are like general,
and that's fear
things that everybody should have. You know what I'm saying? But no, not necessarily saying, hey, you want to get you a guy that's like, and if he's in college, make sure he has a stat degree. If he's in college, pay attention to how his lifestyle, how he lives, how he treats other women, how
he treats his money.
His money, another thing, his planning skills. That's why I say like structure. Like your man's structure should look like this.
Yeah.
I don't feel like a lot of dads are getting detailed in that aspect because just the idea of their daughter dating is so uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's more so what it is, and that has to go. You gotta like really give your daughter the raw game. Like if he's doing this, he's trying to get that. This is what his intentions are. He said what? Okay, no, that really means this specifically. And I feel like if you give them those tools, then they're gonna make better decisions.
LeTisha, how you feel about that?
I agree. I completely agree. I have an adult daughter, and for me, her instruction started with homemaking skills and instilling in her that she's going to one day be a wife, and this is how you're going to take care of your husband and serve your husband. And then another thing was teaching her about sex and teaching her that sex is not something to be afraid of. It's not taboo. It is beautiful. It's wonderful. And I would tell her, like, God, sex is the best thing, one of the best things God created besides your father. However, you do not have sex with just anyone, and you value yourself enough to understand that when you do have sex, you want to have sex with the man, one, who is your husband. And two, you want to make sure that you are, you're in love, and that you really want to give this most precious and sacred part of you. You want to give it to someone who has proven and shown that they are deserving and that they're worthy of it. So we had very open conversations about sex. When I realized that she was just curious. She just had a question based on what was being said in the neighborhood. Right. And at first I kind of was like, I don't want her thinking that I'm going to be okay with her just having sex. But no, it was more about, as long as I made her feel comfortable with the idea of sex, that she wasn't going to be out here just spreading her legs because some boy told her something, and now she's curious to see if it's true or not. So,
you know what's interesting about what you guys both said about like being open and honest with your daughters. There's like this running joke in the I don't want to say the Haitian community, but like basically any immigrant family, right? They'll have a daughter, and the daughter will be like 16 years old, and they'll say, no boyfriend, focus on school. Daughter's 18, no boyfriend, go to college, no boyfriend. Daughter's like 21, graduate from college, no boyfriend, get good job, no boyfriend. Daughter's like 25, why you not married yet? That happens. I know a lot of very traditional immigrant daughters who they have traditional values, but they also have this very protective mindset. That kind of,
you know why that is?
Why?
I'm not an immigrant immigrant, but I kind of had that mindset when my daughter first went off to college. I was just so afraid of her experiencing heartbreak. Yeah. That she would get distracted from her studies, or that she would I didn't want to see her, because I know what it feels to be heartbroken. I know what it feels to get your heart broken by a boy.
I thought her studies was about finding a man. That's what you said.
But still, it's about getting her degree as well, because she, I raised my daughter to try to be traditional, but she kind of was trying to find her own lane. Okay. And I was letting her do that. So she's like, I don't know if this traditional thing is for me. I do want to be married, but I don't know it's for me. So, okay, you're going to college, get your education. And I wanted her to meet someone, but I was like, I don't want her to experience heartbreak. So let's focus on getting through your first semester, get your feet wet because if this is what you want to do, you want to go to college, you want to have a degree, get your feet wet. Don't focus on boys. But then I had to have a pep talk with myself, because I've always had to have a pep talk with me about my parenting when it came to her, because I immediately want to go into protecting her. But then I have to say, no, she has to experience life. So when it came to the point where she said, I met a boy, and I'm like, okay, all right. How are you going to deal with the situation? And, I just kept an open door that she can come and talk to me about whatever it was that she was experiencing.
So, and I think that's phenomenal that you're able to have that kind of conversation with your daughter and recognize the pros and cons to protecting and exposing her in a balanced way. And I think that's a real thing. I don't have any kids, so I can only imagine the kind of pressure that creates for you as a mom, and Trill also as a father, who, because I'm telling you, if I get a daughter, I'm getting a shotgun. It's the most cliche thing you could say, but I know, you know, friends of mine who are in the South, they got kids that are like, I'm getting a gun, and they got them because they're just super.
You don't have to do that. You just need to teach them how to properly vet. And that's what I work with my daughter. Like, you want a guy because money you're in college, so money's not going to be a factor, right? You want him to focus on his character, his values, his personality. Like, are you compatible in temperament? Like, how do you handle disagreements? You know, so you want to focus on those things. And I trusted her to make good decisions. She would come to me and ask me questions, and she trusted me to give her a solid answer. So I mean, she's been with the same guy for almost 2 years. They're about to get engaged. So